Yes, everybody, new bike day. We've got the ReRode EWATT 2.0, and these bikes are just getting faster and faster. This thing might be the pinnacle right now, pushing 30 kilowatts. This thing is so fast. Oh my God. Holy crap, I can't believe that you can just buy a bike this powerful. I don't know what to say about this bike. It sounds like it's gonna be a handful, but let's go find out. I'm gonna give you all the specs on this bike, and then we're gonna go take it for a first ride. Starting off, this bike is built off of the ReRode R1 chassis. It's sporting a 19-inch front and an 18-inch rear wheel. The front tire's nothing really to write home about, but the rear 18 has some good sidewall and knobbies. For suspension, it's got a Fastace ALX 13 RC fork, and the shock is branded as a ReRode RS shock. Where things get real interesting is with the controller, motor, and battery. The controller is basically a rebadged EBMX X9000, which you know we're very fond of. That controller is feeding a claimed 30 kilowatts of peak power to this bike. Yes, you heard me right, 30 kilowatts. We double-checked this number with the people at EWATT, and they verified by saying verbatim that the power is 30 kilowatts peak and 16 kilowatts continuous. However, when you open the EBMX app, the settings for Mode 3 are reading 40 kilowatts and 1000 phase amps. If I'm speaking gibberish to you right now, the point is, this is an insane amount of power for a bike of this size. It's also got a massive 81 volt, 45 amp hour battery totaling 3.6 kilowatt hours, and a motor that was designed by EWATT. So although this is the chassis of a ReRode, the powertrain is entirely from EWATT, and kind of EBMX in a way. The bike is featuring a 420 chain drive instead of a belt, which is a smart move for all of that power. The EWATT 2.0 is coming in at a claimed 154 pounds, and the price is $6,000. Some of the first things we notice is there is quite a bit of dead space around the battery compartment. The battery lid looks a bit troublesome when it comes to your precious bits, and for containing such a big battery, it looks kind of puny and unsecure, if I'm honest. The ReRode R1 has a shock design that is vertical. I'm not making any claims here, but we did notice it. EWATT also sent us some additional brakes for the bike, but they didn't really give us any information about them, and since we were already in the field, ready to ride, we just ended up running the brakes that came on the bike. So we have 3 race modes on this bike. Race mode 1 is reading 15 kilowatts, race mode 2 reading 20 kilowatts, and race mode 3 is reading 40 kilowatts. Alright, mode 3, let's see how this goes. Good Lord. She's angry. Oh my God. Ah. Yeah. All right. First, quarter of a mile, I'm just gonna say a little prayer in hopes I don't kill myself right now. This is insane. Oh my God. Oh, guys. What are we doing here? I can just hardly stay in the throttle. This thing is so fast. Oh my God. There it is. Can finally hold it wide open. All right, I think we found the limits of completely unnecessary power. This is a sand track, so it's not getting traction, and it is insane. All right, I haven't even done one lap yet. We can just end the review right now. This thing is ridiculous. It's the fastest bike in this category, hands down. If you want a hot rod, ridiculous bike, this is the most ridiculous fast bike that you can get. I cannot believe that you can just buy bikes like this in this form. It's absolutely insane. Where does it end? I don't know. I'm just kidding. The review's not over, but it's ridiculous. Like, guys, look how soft this dirt is. Can you see this? Like, somehow this thing is getting traction and scaring the out of me. Grips are non-existent. I know it's a simple thing, like $10, get new grips, whatever. But like, these couldn't be any more slippery, these grips. Yeah, I don't know who spec'd these grips, but come on. Easy swap, but man, it is very slick. Not like you gotta hold on to this thing or anything, right? Alright, I should probably take it out of race 3 so I can actually talk to you guys. Maybe think about something other than trying not to die. Alright, Ventus 1 is insane. eRide Pro SR is insane. This, though, is just... I don't even know. What's more insane than insane? Because that's what this thing is. Alright guys, I am going to put this thing from race 3 down into race 2. I don't even know what kilowatt race 2 is. I'll flash it on the screen here when I find out. Because I can't even talk to you about this bike because it's so ridiculously fast. It's all I can think about is just the power. So let's talk about the rest of the bike. I might even have to put it down into race 1 because, geez, even 2 is crazy. Alright, race 2 is a little bit more manageable. It's still very spicy. You know what? I'm just going to figure this out real quick. What is race 1 like? Even race 1's crazy. What's going on with this thing? Just rolls on slower. I'll go back to race 2. I think I can handle that and talk to you guys at the same time. Alright, my impression of this bike, now that I've ridden a little bit, holy crap, I can't believe that you can just buy a bike this powerful. You know, just like... It just feels like a complete mod bike. So much power. And it feels like a mod bike in the sense that in between my legs, I've got this massive battery. If you guys remember those days, some of you are still doing those big batteries on these bikes, but you just have a massive battery. Kind of makes the ergos feel a little weird, not gonna lie. So when I'm trying to like sit down or squeeze the bike, I can feel it in my inner thighs, and it just hit me in the family jewels. That battery cover is, oh, that battery cover is big, and it's kind of like a desert tank. Be careful of your precious bits, because I've already slammed mine into it a couple times already. Yep, we'll have to do a range test on it. But man, you just have a lot of battery right here. Like that is the seat, ba-boom, right there. And it's wide. It's wider than the seat, basically. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of battery, which is a good thing. That's why it's so powerful, and that's probably why it's going to have really good range. But it's a hot rod. It's just, this is a bike that if you're taking to the streets and whatnot, and you just want to go super fast, cool, this is it. I know it's got dirt tires on it and whatnot, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what to say about this thing. It's just like kind of wild. It's hard to critique this bike, anything outside of the power, because the power is just so in your face. It's just all you can pay attention to. It's too much power. It's like putting a freaking LS1 in a Miata. It's a lot of power for a very basic design. It's like, this feels very much like an original Light B or, you know, something like that, but just with crazy power. I thought I was going to hate the rear end more because the shock is so vertical, but it's actually, at least I'm just not noticing it right now. It doesn't feel bad. Suspension feels really good, but it's just so much power, and this thing is so much in your face that it's got that same characteristic that all these bikes have, where it feels, yeah, like kind of unbalanced and high in the rear, but
yeah, I don't know what to say about this thing. Ergos wise, yeah, bike feels like a modded Lightbee or something like that. But it's just crazy power. It's just like kind of sketchy. I don't know if that's the right word. I did a battery and controller on my Lightbee once before I did anything else. Stock suspension, stock brakes, stock wheels. I just did controller and battery. And the bike was like scary to ride. Yeah, having flashbacks to that bike. This thing is just like crazy power, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, basic, original style Lightbee-esque chassis. I'm just gonna take a quick break here and like focus. I mean, I see what EWATT is doing. It's like take a chassis that already exists. They're already making the batteries. They already have a partnership with EBMX for the controllers. So why not just make a crazy bike? Which is what they did. This is a modded power bike, and the rest is fairly normal stock. And it's a handful, man. If you're wanting like a good performing like dirt jump kind of bike, then nah, don't get this bike. I can already tell you that. But if you're like, hey, I just want to be the fastest dude in the neighborhood on one of these bikes and just do drag races and beat everybody, then yep, here you go, here's your bike. Oh man, I don't know what to say about this bike.
Once I gathered my thoughts, I have to say this bike is impressive. I love that you can use the EBMX app to tune the bike, and you'll probably want to. I had no issues with the motor overheating, and the power felt smooth and responsive, making it a standout in comparison to other lightweight, off-the-shelf bikes in this high-power category. After testing it, what would we do to modify this bike? This bike is a great candidate for a longer fork, a drop crown, or a 21-inch front wheel. Or honestly, a mix of all of those things. It's just too much power and weight with a 19-inch front if you're riding off-road. Otherwise, yes, you could go the opposite direction, and it's probably a great supermoto candidate if you plan to keep this thing on the asphalt. We'll plan to try the other brake kit that EWATT sent, but I don't think it's going to cut it. This bike requires some serious braking power. Alright, let's wrap this up, and I will beat you over the head with some more notes on the power and give you my conclusion on it.
Crazy machine. I'm gonna try to not talk about the power anymore because that's like all I'm talking about. But it's got good fast-paced suspension. Feels good. Feels a lot like kind of some of the original era of these bikes. Feels a lot like a Lightbee with a massive battery and an EBMX X9000, which, you know, is super fun, right? Tons of power, but it is at that limit where it feels like it also needs a lot of other things to make the bike feel safe because, I mean, it's just crazy fast. So if you're looking for a bike that is just gonna knock your socks off power-wise, drag race, rip wheelies, you know, kind of just hit crazy top speeds, then yeah, this is it. But if you're somebody that wants a more versatile, lightweight kind of pit bike to hit moto tracks and eMoto, like pit bike tracks and things like that, I don't know, the battery just feels like it kind of gets in my way a little bit. So it could be a really good, you know, platform if you want to build up from here. But it just reminds me of when I did a big battery and a controller on my stock Lightbee. It just overwhelmed the bike, and this bike feels a bit overwhelmed with the power. Clearly, you can tune it down if you want to just run less power, but that's not why you buy this bike. If you're okay with just kind of feeling that big battery in between your legs, like a desert tank kind of thing, and you want a lot of range, another great option. This thing is going to be sweet for that. It's pretty amazing that this thing is coming with basically an X9000 on it and an upgraded really oversized battery. But yeah, I think it's a really good bike. It's just, what's your use case? You know, it's a lot of bang for the buck. I'm having a lot of fun on it because it's exciting to ride, and it comes with a lot of nice features. But yeah, it's just a lot of power for a little bike like this. So this power war that's going on right now is crazy. I'll just leave it at that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.